The Chase Sexton slander needs to stop. Needs to stop.
Talk about a guy who needs some slack, though. Justin Hill comes in as the fastest qualifier, and you immediately texted me and you said, give him the Honda ride. Now, and we all know what's going on with Honda. Jason Anderson gets a written warning from the AMA for trying to smash Barcia straight up T-bone style. Watched it back a few times. The dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Julien dislocated his shoulder in qualifying. We just found out after the race. Would have been nice to know that while we're watching him ride around seventh place.
Welcome back to the Moto Outsider, everybody. Today we are talking all things Arlington and all things Chase Sexton. So Chris Baird, my man, is always with me here. We got coffee. Raise your cup. Raise your cup.
We're here.
That's it.
Just
Dude, I know you were up in Canada watching this incredible racing event, and it was anything but boring when it comes to the 450s, man. And I know Chase Sexton is the talk of the town in the 450s. Everything that went on between Justin Barcia and Jason Anderson, it's been a wild weekend in the 450s. What were your thoughts on Texas, brother? Military Appreciation Weekend.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to say the racing was not great, kind of subpar for the races we've had this year, leading up to like the last 450 main. Um,
Sure.
I want to start off right now. I'm a little upset. I'm not upset. I'm frustrated at people. The Chase Sexton slander needs to stop. Needs to stop. If you go on social media, I know Matt doesn't have social media, so he's not on there looking at Instagram, Moto
Tell me
memes,
more.
all these stupid accounts. The hate and the crap people talk about Chase because he crashed. I don't understand it. The guy went for the win. He didn't even have to win. Chase Sexton was in second place after, stalled the bike. He was leading, stalled the bike, second place. He could have stayed there. He could have absolutely stayed there, still won the overall, but he wanted to beat Cooper Webb. He wanted to just get in his head a little bit, play the game. Those are the guys that are going for the championship battle, Like, I understand what he was going through.
Sure.
I just hate that people, yes, he's crashed a lot in the past. He's made mistakes. He crashed in the whoops at Tampa. I understand. He does crash sometimes, but the crash we saw, multiple things. Lap around the left side. Cooper Webb cuts down way earlier than I think he expected.
Cut
The
down
front end got a little
super.
crazy. Yeah, and his front end he got a little crazy. I understand, but I think he would have saved it if Cooper wasn't there. He probably would have given him a run for his money in the whoops. It probably would have been a really, really good last turn. I don't know. I don't understand why people are so quick to hate on Chase when he's literally the fastest guy right now. Raw speed, talent. He gets up. He comes from last to third. 2 weeks
Yep.
ago, where were they? Detroit. He's incredible. I know people are just having fun and all that, but it's every time you go online, you got to feel for the dude. Again, if you're him, you wake up the night after the race and just constant. You can't even scroll social media without there being a post about you or a comment or something. Like, what's your thoughts on
Why?
like people going after athletes on social media? I'm just curious about that.
Well, one, dude, going after athletes on social media is the dumbest thing ever. And number two, obviously, we are commentating on it. We are bench racing,
Yeah, of
that's why we
course.
love this sport. But I'm talking to the hardcore people who wake up and insist on trolling professional athletes. You are an idiot and you look stupid. You can play that back a hundred
100%.
times because I'm going, and I know Chris and I talked about this off camera. You are never going to criticize anyone that you are doing better than. So, do you
Yeah,
really think that Chase Sexton is going to read your comments and care about what Matt from Florida thinks about him? Absolutely not.
no,
Even what
not at all.
RC thinks about him. It doesn't matter because Chase is in the game. And if you are a person commentating on social media, it's your right to do so, and you certainly can. But the problem is, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions that have never accomplished anything. I know for a fact I'll never accomplish what Chase has. Same thing with you. So our
Yeah,
opinion is exactly that, an opinion. It doesn't take away from who he is as a guy. But the thing is, man, do you think the emotion of him trying to beat Cooper Webb is what cost him that overall? Or do you think it was a skill issue? I mean, because we've talked about the inconsistencies of Chase in the past. But the thing is, though, if he just wrangled in his emotions and relented, would he have been better off? The answer is yes.
of
But
course.
is it personal between him and Cooper, or was he just not able to control himself? That's the question I want to know. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, again, like we lost Eli, we lost Jet. We're losing all these big guys that are supposed to be in this title fight. Kenny's, in my opinion, out of it until he. Kenny's doing arguably 10 times better than I thought he would. I really think Kenny is doing amazing. He obviously won
20
the first
points
one,
back.
but yeah, he still got third. What, he got third overall, and he still fell back points
Ken
because
Roczen got
he finished.
second overall.
Second overall. Okay, so
Second overall, he's third in the points. And I asked you this question, and you said it's pretty much not mathematically impossible, but it is a very steep uphill battle for Ken. And I mean, he looked so fast. It was such a shame that he wasn't able to pull out the overall, man. That second moto did him in so bad.
I know. Yeah, no, I mean I love Kenny, and it just sucks that I don't know.
Right.
All I'm saying is like, look at Cooper and Chase. Like they're just kind of hard to beat right now. Like he did beat them, yes, but
Yeah.
Triple Crown, and when they have a full 20 minutes, I don't see them not being able to pass Kenny. I mean, look at Detroit
Mhm.
last week. We didn't do a show because we were busy. We couldn't make it happen, unfortunately. But uh,
Yep.
I mean, Cooper stalked him down the whole race, took it over. We knew it was going to happen. Kenny's doing great though.
Right.
Kenny is definitely overperforming for what I thought, and we're still getting later in the season. He's still riding like he was at day one, which is great. Chase and
Yep.
Cooper are just on a different level, in my opinion. And again, I don't think Chase's crash was a skill issue or anything. I just think you're landing off a big triple, and there's a lapper on the left, and Cooper's right there. You're trying to pass. It's just the pressure. You can't even imagine. His heart rate was probably like 190. Like he's trying to win, get in
For
Cooper's
sure.
head, let him know that he's not the guy. It is what
Yep.
it is. Obviously, it
And
doesn't. What I'm saying doesn't matter. It's just trash talk on the internet. But it's same thing with Jet.
boring.
People are like, oh, yeah, because like, oh, look at Jet. Jets wins everything. It's boring when Jet's there. Yeah, but he's one of the greatest we're ever going to see. Appreciate him while he's here. Same thing with Chase.
Yes, exactly. And I remember, and Chase is fast. We're not taking that away from him. I remember watching races from years ago, and
Yeah,
RC would be in the booth saying, or I think it was even Ralph Shaheen back in the day, would say, Cooper races like he has eyes in the back of his helmet. And I'm wondering if that whole incident where Chase goes down and tosses it, did Cooper have the wherewithal and that feeling that he was right there and that if he hung close to the lapped rider and cuts down early, that pretty much eliminates Chase's ability to come in for the win unless Chase blatantly smashes him and then Chase is the bad guy. I wonder if that was the
yeah,
case or if Cooper did accidentally cut down a little too soon. I don't know. That's just really interesting to think about though.
yeah. I mean, Cooper does cut down notoriously every corner. He's known for making the track as short as possible. And I think it was the same thing. I just think it was the time and place that the lapper wasn't there. I think a lot of things would have been different because he would have been farther outside. He could have rode the outside of that corner. Chase does that. He's
Yep.
like Eli. He stands up really far into the corner, sits down late. I watched it back 10 times, slow mo, everything. Simple mistake. I think anybody in his shoes would have probably went for that win just because he was so
Right there.
fast and I can't even imagine. Like I just think about it, like the feeling of the crowd. Imagine how like that must stroke your ego. Like the crowd is just every lap, just you're eating it up.
Yep.
You're winning. You're in the lead. You make a
Yep.
mistake, you catch back up. And I'm not saying Chase has a big ego. I'm just saying it's got to be a good feeling. And you want to prove what you have every week. And he's paid to win. And he probably
Yep.
maybe it was miscommunication. You don't know. He could have thought that he needed to win because they showed Jay Dungy's pit board for a few laps. He didn't say anything about like just stay second or anything. Like it was kind of weird. I thought he would have been like, "You're good. You got the overall. Stay where
Yeah.
you are." They didn't do any of that,
Just
which was kind of
manage.
strange.
Right.
So I don't know. We can
I
talk about this
mean,
all day. Just it is what it is. It's just
yeah, it's
frustrating
a
that
bummer.
this happened, and then the feedback you see and hear from people, it's just like, "There goes Chase. Chase Sexton. Oh, he tucked the front again." Guys,
Yep.
he's one of the
And
greatest athletes we're ever going to witness in our lifetimes. Like let's cut him some slack. He's riding pretty fast.
talk about a guy who needs some slack, though. Justin Hill comes in as the fastest qualifier, and you immediately texted me and you said, give him the Honda ride. Now, and we all know what's going on with Honda. So Justin Hill finishes fifth overall, 448.
Spicy.
Does it does it spicy for sure, but does it make sense now? Do you see this becoming more of a possibility?
The Honda ride or just like him doing better?
The Honda, I guess both. I think they would kind of go hand in hand. I think the big
Well,
step up would be the Honda ride, though.
I feel like we've seen it all year. I don't think he's like shied away from these good times. Like in qualifying, every week he's top five, top 10, and
Yep.
I don't know. He did like that interview with Gypsy Tales before the season, and he talked about it. He's got his health in order. He's eating better, eating clean, training properly. He said he has a bunch of different trainers. He's got a good program this year. I just don't know that him switching teams would be a good thing for him because steel frame versus aluminum frame, two different bikes, different handling. Jet and Hunter
Yep.
have both struggled on their bikes, early in the year. I mean, we watched Anaheim one, 11th and 12th or 12th and 13th, whatever they finished. Um, I don't know. I don't think it's good for him to switch teams. I do think that I see him getting better. I think he could
Mhm.
podium. Circumstance, because again, if you look at, let me just jump over here really quick to like the first main event results. But again, if you guys only had one main, like the first main was Roxton Cooper Sexton. Hill's fourth. one of those guys goes down, he's in a podium. If that's a normal main event, he could easily just podium a race, no problem. I think it's cool. I think it's really, really cool. He's hitting
Yep.
these big lines. He's really good in that aspect, and he looks the best we've seen him in a while. So, do I think it's a Honda ride? No, but I'd like to see him get it. Yes.
Of
But
course.
I give him one podium this year. That's my take on Justin Hill.
What do you think about with Malcolm Stewart though, right? We were riding the high of Malcolm Stewart. He finishes 8-12-7 for 9 overall. Was his win a flash in the pan? Is the Triple Crown not friendly to him? Because I want to believe so much, and I do believe in Malcolm Stewart, but I want to believe in his potential so much more than I do. I love him as a person, but dude, I just feel like the results are not there, and I cannot delineate as to what it is.
I think like the best way I could put it is like, that saying that even a broken clock is right twice a day. He's
Sure.
obviously fast. He has the speed, and he finally had the right, track conditions, chase everyone that didn't get good starts. He was comfortable, home field advantage, maybe you want to call it. I think it's in
Yep.
there. I think he could do well. I think his starts really do hold him back. I truly think his starts are his like, Justin Cooper's are the
Yep.
whoops. His are starts. It just is what it is. I think if he started up front with those guys, for a second, third, I don't think we would have seen him fall as far back.
Sure.
Um, I don't know. Maybe it's dirt. Another team that has kind of publicly struggled with that bike. I don't know whether
Sure.
it's that. I mean, it's weird though, because like we look at the guys that are all training together this year. It's Barcia, it's Malcolm, it's AP. You can't sit here and say they're having great years for what they've done in the past. I'm not saying that's anything to do with Alden. I'm really not. I think the
Well,
program
no.
works, but it is weird that they're all having, these similar issues and they're all on the same brand. And I don't know what that is or what that means, but that's just a simple observation.
Well, if there's one common denominator amongst the three of them, would it not be Alden?
Austrian bikes and Alden, yeah, they're on pretty much all the same bike and they're all training with the same guy. I don't know if they're training too hard, if they're
That's
getting burnt
that's
out.
interesting.
I'm not there. I don't know. But AP
Alden,
for
come on
one,
the
AP
show and
went.
speak for yourself.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, come on and talk to us. But look at AP. Well, he went 7-7-10, I think. Uh,
Yep.
he
Seven,
had the
seven,
whole
ten.
shot in the third one too, and just 10th
Yeah,
place.
and just looped, and yeah, that was it.
I love AP. I really do. I just, he
Of
led the
course,
points
that's
last
Mr.
year for a
America.
few rounds. Yeah, he was a points leader last year. He was on it last year, and we're just not getting the same guy this year. So maybe it's momentum. Maybe he started the season off so weak, he's really struggling mentally, confidence. Who knows, right? I mean, we're just speculating here, but
So, well,
um,
let's speculate on Justin Barcia and Jason Anderson. Jason Anderson gets a written warning from the AMA for trying to smash Barcia straight up T-bone style. Watched it back a few times. The dumbest thing I've ever seen. What were your thoughts on that, man? That was nuts.
yeah, I don't know if they showed the beforehand stuff, but there was definitely some things that led up to that.
Yep.
So I'm not saying that Barcia deserved it, but he mess with the bull, you get the horns, I guess. I don't know. But Jason was spicy all day. I don't know if you saw qualifying, but one of the last laps of the last qualifying session, Jason Anderson, hits finish line, and Coop was in the corner with him, getting ready to start his fast lap, where Jason's ending a fast lap. So they jump finish line together. Coop assumes that Jason is going to probably slow down because he just ended the fast lap, but comes into him in the corner, and then Jason cat and mouse stopped him in one of the next turns. I don't know if Jason just had like one of those days. He was just feeling a little spicy or what it was, but yeah, he does not
Well, I
take
mean,
any of that stuff at all. He takes it so personal. Every time a wheel touches his wheel, it's like, I'm gonna kill you now, I don't know what that is.
well, the spice
He's
doesn't pay
aggressive.
off when you finish 12, 17, and 2 for 11th overall. I mean, if you're gonna be spicy, at least kind of finish within the top five,
Well,
maybe. At least
that's the
be
question. Yeah, no, people are kind of, I've seen that on Vital and all this different stuff, different message boards, like from after the race. If he's not doing all this stuff, messing with Barcia, and if he just focuses forward, does he finish better? Probably. It
right.
is weird that he gets into these little scruffles, like every single week. Not helping his case at all because he could be winning races. I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but
Because in what world does Dylan Ferrandis and Joey Savacci place ahead of Jason Anderson?
I know. Yeah, I think some. I don't know. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's not. I don't know. You're 100% right. I mean, yeah, they're getting better, but are the 450 fields depleting quick? Pretty easy to say that.
I
I
think
think.
that's a valid conversation right there, the depletion of the 450 class.
Who do they put on that bike? Lars Lundstrom, team manager, made a post this week and said that they don't have to have a bike out there, but they will, and they're considering it. So who do they put on that bike? I'm looking at the results. Besides Hill, I don't see a single person that would move up from the top 15 to a top 10 on that bike. I really don't. Jerry
Kyle
Robbins, the
Chisholm?
best privateer this year, I think. Chiz has like a long-term deal with Suzuki. I don't. Now I do. Now Chiz was on that Star Yamaha in 2023. He won a heat race and
Yep.
he was looking good. But it's the
Yep.
450s. It's 450s. I don't see anybody. I don't see it making sense. I really don't. Maybe
Yeah.
move Joe up, put Joe on the 450 for the East Coast rounds. That'd be my if that's
Hmm.
my like that's my theory. That's what they're going to do if they do anything.
Okay. So let's
That's all I got.
let's wrap up 450s then and talk about Justin Cooper. 236 for fourth overall. Again, fantastic starts. The kid's like the whole shot king at this point.
He's
But
back. He always
dude,
was. He's finally back
a
again.
100% want to see the kid get on the podium. I want to see the kid win. When does that happen? Because it's like it's almost like maybe the pace isn't there or something, but he just gets hunted down. And as I mentioned before, his sprint speed is incredible, but Ken Roxon reeled him in like a savage and then just gone, like he's not even there. It's interesting to watch everything around Justin Cooper.
Yeah, my whole thoughts, and I was thinking about it a lot during the race. I think he's someone who's going to have to be molded into a champion if he's going to be a champion.
Okay.
I think he does lack confidence, and I think when he gets past, I think he kind of backs off a little bit, like okay, maybe I'm not good enough to be here, type of thing. I truly think
Yep.
he's kind of Dungy in that aspect of the whole mental side of it. Dungy was mentally strong. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but things aren't right. They're not right, and the bike's not good. I'm not going to push it, type of deal. But he was looking good. He was looking spicy. The second main, he got into that little collision with Chase. He fought back after he got passed, which was good to see. I did not
Yep.
expect that from him. Don't usually see that fire from him. We watched him blitz and whoops this weekend, which is really good. So I do think we talked about it a couple shows ago. We're like, oh, he's never going to win. He's never going to podium. Like it was looking like downhill trend, right? I think
Right.
we're starting to trend back up a little bit. It's really really good. Don't know if you watched the show. I don't know if you were sending him nasty DMs or something, but I think he's been turning it around. It looks good to see.
Yeah.
Dude, he should, and he probably will podium a race here soon. Daytona,
Yeah.
maybe he's an outdoor guy for sure, in my opinion. So,
Yep. Dude,
maybe.
I wish you were going to be in town so we can go to Daytona together. Dang it. I
I mean,
do.
I'm not busy. I could just fly in.
But you're going to Japan.
I
But
had to fly back Saturday night. So,
yeah, that would be an insane schedule. But dude, let's get into the 250s where it is all about Haiden Deegan, but the man of the night was Cody Schock. And I know it was an interesting night for Cody Schock, semi-privateer, semi-factory team, but nonetheless showed out. And Julien Beaumer had some stuff going on. Chris, talk to me 250s, brother.
yeah. I'll say Hayden Egan finally did what we thought he would and should and could be doing. Finally looked dominant. Looked like the guy. He hasn't looked like that yet this year, in my opinion. Whether it's qualifying, heat race, main event. I think San Diego was probably a better race for him, but he didn't look like he was the guy. We saw that this weekend. Cody
Mhm.
Schock, no, he looked really good. I don't want to take anything away from Cody Schock.
Yeah.
Happenstance, situational. He probably should have finished fourth or fifth, but with Jordan and Julian not being, in there like they should have been, he was up front every moto. He rode well. He was fighting for positions. That was awesome. I'm a big Cody Schock fan, so
Yeah,
props to
no
him.
doubt.
You take it however it comes. And Julian dislocated shoulder in qualifying. We just found out after the race from Lewis Phillips on X. So thanks to him. But it would have been nice to know that while we're watching him ride around seventh
100,
place.
100%, because I'm sitting there watching these races and I'm talking to you, and it's just what is going on with this kid? Because as we started talking, I was like, this Julian is out of the conversation now. It's done. I don't care. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then we find out that he pops his shoulder. I was like, well, why didn't we know that going into the race? I really want
Yeah.
to know from the team side if there's like an injury suppression clause or something where you're not allowed to talk about it. But it doesn't make sense. But at the same token, on the flip side of that, Julian goes down, Joe Shimoda shows out and has a really good finish. Dude goes 5.53 for fourth overall and had a good ride from him too. So it was a weird kind of shakeup in the 250s between Cody Schock, Julien Beaumer, and Joe Shimoda for sure.
Yeah, I'll keep it short because we talked about it earlier, but I truly don't
Yeah.
get if I'm Julien Beaumer and I know that there's probably, hundreds, if not almost a million people watching this race, right?
Mhm.
Why don't I want the announcers to know that I'm injured? And that's the reason I'm getting seventh, eighth, ninth place, whatever I'm doing. He was he fourth in the last one. I think he did finish a little bit better at the end, but
Yeah,
it's the
he
third
finished
race.
6.84. Yep.
So yeah, he's got the endurance, but what's going on? Nobody has a single clue that you're hurt like this. It just frustrates me so much. And again, it would bother me if I'm sitting here listening to watching the race back and they're like, no, Julian just back there, like, tell us what's going on. But it's been like that forever. It'll never change. Now, the other thing I told you earlier is that Joe Shimoda, in my opinion, would probably be in this title hunt right now if he didn't get hurt. Because
Without a doubt.
even every race he did after he got hurt, he was pushing, he was riding hard, he had broken fingers, and he's still blitzing whoops. It
Mhm.
was really impressive, and he's getting better and better. So I'd love to see him get a win for a season end. Still don't know if it'll happen. I know they got some time off coming up.
Right.
Oh man, I feel bad for Joe. He probably could have. Not saying
He
he
looked
would have
really
won
good.
it,
He
but
looks
he's
good.
looked really good. I mean, it's just
But
Hayden. Hayden figured it out. Hayden
he
made it
did.
happen.
And that's what I want to talk to you about because the kid I think finally got to display his speed. And again, the kid comes from like 10th or worse to win Moto 1.
Yeah,
Like, dude, the kid is all talent. And when he keeps it upright on two, he's a problem. And that finally came through, even though he did have some mishaps. But this past weekend, I think, showed us the ability that he has. And like you mentioned off camera, I believe, Hayden's probably going to win it now and lock it up. I think the momentum swing has been massive in his favor, but he looked incredible, man. 1-1-2 for first overall, and he is leading the points by a mere 6 point margin.
yeah. I think it's important to note for people who don't know. I mean, they talked about it in the broadcast, I believe, but I think Lewis Phillips, Steve Matthes, they kind of broke this weekend. Um, Deegan was training with Christian Craig, kind of more one on one, and the team star guys were doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They've kind of ended that. He's still close with Christian, but Hayden's now training with the team every week, riding with them every week, not doing one on one stuff. And I think
Mhm.
that has really showed. And I truly think that is the worst thing. Eli Tomac's like the only person I think who has done this, like riding by yourself every season and still being stupid fast. But for most guys, I don't think it works. I mean, again, Hayden should have probably ridden like this from A1 to now. And he's
Mhm.
looked like he's been lagging something, is he not? I mean, what do you think about Hayden from A1 to now? It's like a different guy, right? I don't know.
I, it looks like a different guy, but he seems I get this energy from him that he's still figuring it out. And that's scary
Yeah,
because he's very, very fast as he's
true.
figuring it out.
I
So,
like that.
okay, he stops training by himself. Now he's training with the boys. All right, cool. I want to know what that conversation is like behind closed doors to make that decision and what they're getting from those results. Like, what's the data they're looking at to say, okay, this is working, this is not. And again, I don't want to speculate on it because I'd love to just get it from him, but that's a long shot here. But dude, it's insane to me that he's still this young, still figuring it out, and he's not even, I don't think he's really hit his stride yet. I really don't. It's very strange. And I'm not trying to sit here and be a Deegan show pony or whatever you guys want to say, but it just seems like he's finally starting to hit that uphill where he's about to really separate himself now.
No,
Because
I
I
don't
think
think I.
the damage is done to, oh, I'm sorry. I think the damage is done to Julian now, injury wise. It's going to nag. It's going to be achy. They got time off, yes. But now Hayden's like, okay, there's blood in the water. Let's go. Here's where we're going to separate the gap. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like looking at him, whether it's podium interviews, whatever it is, he's short, sweet. He's very, very quiet, calm. He's kind of not being the cocky kid we saw the first few rounds. I wonder if, dad
Yeah.
had something to do with that, like, or maybe it's the team managers, like, hey, bro, just stop causing unnecessary problems because he wasn't really backing it up like he should have been over the first, 4 or 5 races. He
Yes.
was saying things and he wasn't backing it up like he should have been. He should have been more dominant. Now he's
Right.
keeping it to himself, short interviews. He's not being cocky on the podium. Um, I think he's going to get more fans that way. And like you said, I think he has more in the tank. I don't see Julien coming back. I don't see Julien winning anymore this year in Supercross. I don't see it. I think momentum is just going to
Yeah.
start swinging down for him. It sucks though. It really does suck because we had a good battle going, and we can transition into Jordan Smith talking about good battles.
Yeah.
I think Jordan could have honestly, he could have either left leading the points or at least had his front tire in the first turn, kind of thing. But no, Hayden showed great improvement. You cannot say anything, but he was the best guy this weekend, and he absolutely earned that win.
We're off to Daytona. We are off to one of the best races of the season. I don't know what the weather is going to look like. Let me pull this up. Stand by for your boy.
Okay, we're
Let me,
standing.
let me pull up the weather for Daytona because I think if
Daytona.
we get a mud moto, it is going to be one of the best events on TV.
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh man, it's going to
I
be
hope we don't though.
sunny. It's going to be sunny and in the 60s at night. So forget it. So no mud moto on the way, but I was hoping it would be. But Daytona brings out some of the best racing, man. What are your thoughts on Daytona as we head towards Florida?
I mean, you just never know what could happen. I mean, we saw Deegan have a really big crash there last year off that triple.
Yep.
Sandy, Ruts. I don't know. East Coast is still, in my opinion, like we're still figuring out who the guys are going to be for the whole year. Obviously, Levi looked really good. Max got robbed last week. I know we didn't do a show about all that, but Max absolutely got robbed. It kind of sucked. I think we have a different winner this week. I don't think Max or Levi wins it. I think it's going to either be like RJ or Tom.
Yep. I'm saying
But
RJ
no, dude,
I'm with you.
RJ, yeah, I'm gonna go Tom. I think Tom DL might win this. A little more outdoorsy.
Okay.
Just I don't know. I'm excited though. I'm super excited. It's probably one of the best races of the year. Ricky
Me
Carmichael
too,
always
man.
says the season starts at Daytona. This is where it really begins. He has a
Yep.
point. You're at that point now where it kind of starts rolling and the points start. Look at the point gaps we
Yep.
have now. We have 6 points in both classes.
Super tight. Yep.
Yeah, and from West, I don't have the East points in front of me. I'm not sure how big that gap is. I know it's probably similar. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
They
I
released
understand
the
that.
track
No,
map. Dude, the track looks sick. Like,
yeah, it's
and
different this year than
long
it's been, I believe.
it is. It's into a sweeping right-hand turn, whole shots into a sweeping right-hand turn, massive rhythm section. And then basically, so that's turn one, two, turn three opens up into that super long, fast finish line section. It's going to into basically a 90-degree bull turn before the sand. Like,
Yeah,
sick. Gonna
gnarly.
be
It's gonna be
fast.
gnarly.
Gonna be sick. Bro, do you remember, was it last year or 2 years ago, where those fans ran across the speedway to get to the podium stuff and didn't Tomac or Cooper Webb smash one of them
Hit
with his
some
bars?
girl. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
think
hit
some girl got like hit
some
or
chick
something.
running.
That was
Hopefully
Anderson,
there's
right?
no might have been Anderson. Yes.
I think.
All I
No,
know
no,
is they
I
had
do.
problems with the fans.
Probably 2 years ago. I think. No, I do remember
Okay.
that. That was gnarly.
Better control all
Daytona.
that.
People getting wild. Well, they're gonna ruin it. I'm sure there's gonna be some different procedures in place this year. I mean, dude, I don't know. It's just one of those races that anything could happen. The 450 guys, we don't have a single Daytona winner in the 450 class right now, which is pretty cool. Is it gonna be
Yep.
Chase Tona? Is it gonna be Coop Tona? We got Jay Tona. Like, who's gonna win this thing? I don't know.
Dude,
I
and the
really think
points,
Chase needs this more than anything, but I don't know.
yeah. I think Chase needs it too. And I'm looking at the points for the 250 East, and it's much more spread out than the 250 West. Obviously, you have Ansi Kitchen VL 47, 38, 35. I mean, second
Okay, so nine
through
points.
it is pretty tight. Pretty tight.
Yeah.
But Max
Okay,
Ansi's
so I
got a
mean,
nice
or is it 11 points? Is that what you said? 37, 40, 48?
47 to 38. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so nine. Okay, so yeah, 9 points. I mean, that's Max can definitely just cruise and podium and be okay this weekend. And Levi worries me, man. Like, if he has a bad night or doesn't feel good, look how round one went. When you have guys
Yep.
like Max who can just start up front, picture perfect laps, no mistakes. Um, I don't know. I want Levi to do better, and I want him to be consistently up front. But dude, Max Hansen, first time 250 champion would be sick. I would be
I'd
super
be
big fan
pumped
of
on
that.
that. Absolutely.
Like,
I'd be pumped.
I just remember all the old Moto movies, prospects. So just I was a kid, man, like watching him. I never
Yep.
would have thought he'd be racing in 2025 250 class, but
So sick.
30 years old, killing it. So yeah, guys, let us know in the comment section who you guys have for Daytona winners. One more time, who
Yep.
you got for your 250 450, Matt?
Dude, 250. I want to say RJ. I really do. I'm gonna say our 250s, RJ, and then man, 450s, Roxon.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go
Chase, sticking with
VL
Chase.
and Chase. VL and Sexton.
Yep.
Those are gonna be my guys for the weekend, but we'll see. We'll see.
Dude,
Coop
it's
is
gonna be
gonna be
fast.
hard to beat.
Yes, it's gonna be fast. The battles are gonna be sick, and the thing is, they can let it hang out on the bike. You can really see much more performance from these bikes
Yeah.
on these speedway tracks. So I think it's gonna be sick, man.
I think 2023, I don't think it was last year. Was it 23 where Coop and Eli had a really good battle? I mean, Coop has been really good at Daytona
Yeah.
before, so we've seen it. Um, I just don't know Chase's raw speed. And for his sake, hopefully he can keep it together, get a good start, and run away. Because I think for his mental sake, if he doesn't win Daytona, I don't know if he can come back from all these kicks in the nuts he's had. I don't know.
100%. And if you start to see the downward slide from there, I think you're 100% accurate.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
Ladies and
That's all I
gentlemen,
got.
that's Arlington. That's a little bit of a prediction for Daytona. Let us know in the comments who you guys got going on for the first speedway race of the year. But other than that, Christopher, great seeing you, pal. Moto Outsider.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Out of here.
no doubt. See you, man.